The brown bear, Latin name Ursus arctos. Omnivorous animals living in the northern hemisphere in places like Alaska, northern Canada, Siberia, and some parts of Europe. As their diet goes after winter, the usual things they might find are carrion, grasses, sedges, forbs, and shoots, which are just plants. As summer comes along, bears tend to start eating insects and berries, as well as the grasses. Once migrations start to occur in the fall, bears will resort to eating berries, insects, but also many nuts, small animals, and certain types of fish. Their food that they consume mainly consists of proteins, lipids, and carbohydrate macromolecules, but they usually eat more lipids before the start of hibernation and more carbohydrates after they wake up from it. When preparing for winter, brown bears eat more lipids, which helps them change the structure of their cells. Cells would contain more monosaturated fatty acids in muscle cells to allow the body to use those fatty acids and not need to break down muscle tissue for energy. Lipid compositions are also occurrent in skeletal muscle, tissues, and blood plasma as cholesterol. Within a cell starting to prepare for hibernation, calcium levels stay the same, but lipids within the cytosol and membrane increase. Phosphate decreases, and FGF23, or a growth protein, is increased. During summer metabolism, rates are steady throughout the body, and things like food are required regularly to survive, and no changes are made to the body yet. In winter during hibernation, metabolic rates are lowered by 25%, and things like temperature of the animal lowers to up to 4 degrees Celsius. The heartbeat can go from 200 to 399 beats per minute to 3 to 5 beats per minute. Also during hibernation, certain processes are stopped like drinking, urination, and defecation. Some of the pathways affected during the winter are that of cellular respiration, where the initial carbohydrates as main sources of energy are replaced by lipids. More usage comes from the lipids once in hibernation, going through the process of first being broken down from fats to glycerol by hydrolyzation and going through glycolysis. The steps from there are the same as with carbohydrates to create ATP for the cells. There are things being upregulated, like certain genes that control protein production that help with any functions in the body. PDK4 is a protein that is upregulated in things like skeletal muscle, where the pyruvate made from carbohydrates does not convert to acetyl-CoA. Other proteins are regulated, like PTL, which helps control how fatty acids hydrolyze. This is because during hibernation, those fatty acids become the new main source for the production of ATP. Both of these are examples that work together to support the switch from carbohydrates to lipid catabolism. One protein brown bears use throughout the year but regulate is ERP57 protein. It is a type of thiol-isomerase enzyme found within platelet cells that functions as an activator for platelets to be used when hormones attach to it. They also act as folding proteins, ensuring the correct folding before being functional. Inside a brown bear today in summer, the levels are stable like in humans, but during hibernation, the number of these proteins increase in order to suffice for a bear's immunity system by helping it repair itself since more of the activation proteins are made. A technology today that can be used to see a bear's proteins level during summer and winter is a serum protein electrophoresis, or CPEP. It is a laboratory piece which takes recently drawn blood and analyzes certain proteins and their levels in the bear's blood. By reading positive or negative charges found on amino acids and placing them in an electrical field, the machine separates proteins from one another. The proteins would divide into 5 small groups and would show a quantity of them. Since ERP57 is part of the alpha-2 globulin, the expected results in winter for a brown bear should be that they are increased significantly compared to the other proteins. Along with many changes in the bodies of brown bears, the nervous system also has a few. Decreased electrical and metabolic activity contribute to the slowed metabolism, lowers or increases certain hormones or proteins. The respiratory system is also slowed down, but kept at a steady rhythm. Senses of bears lowers with the winter, like touch, sight, and the feel of temperature, which keeps bears asleep without uncomfortability from anything that can happen outside in their 5 to 6 months of sleep. The nervous system, just like in sleep, enters a semi-paralysis, except this one lasts longer, and it keeps the bear safe and at bay. Rhythms in the body during hibernation run independently, performing many tasks, including maintaining body fat decomposition, suppressing reproductive hormones, and increase in immunoreactive neurons that help activate the proteins from earlier. Most of the functions, while in torpor, are slowed down in the nervous system along with the metabolism, where circadian rhythms can free run 20, 22, and 24 hours, and are primarily controlled by the hippocampus in the brain. Normally, bears are able to sense and react to their environment, and their nervous system regulates things in the body at a quicker rate in summer, which all help it realize situations, react certain ways, and go through reaching homeostasis much faster than during hibernation. In the end, brown bears experience many important changes for their body in order to survive winters. From the food they eat and how proteins are regulated to slowing most things down in their body, all these allow the bear to successfully survive cold winters, and even with so many changes inside their bodies, they always return healthy and back to normal.